Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. We're going to go into a little bit more of custom and semi-custom 3D, 4D brackets, whatever you want to call these, specifically Celebrace, KLOwen, InBrace, Dynaflex, Brius, LightForce. If you go to an AAO, and I think AAO is actually happening right about now, right when I'm recording this is like all over AAO right now. And I just want to kind of break it down like why this even exists. Do people use it? Pros and cons. It's really up to you. So let's dig into it a little bit more. Okay, so first of all, they sell braces. They've been selling brackets, stock brackets, for hundreds of years. I mean, the technology, they're way cheaper than they used to be. They used to be very expensive to manufacture, and now they're really cheap. I mean, you can buy a really good bracket for less than $1 a pop. It's very, very low cost. And obviously, the more you buy, um, the cheaper it's going to be, right? So by crowdsourcing and buying as a bulk through a DSO, through a formulary, through a group, you can get them for a lot cheaper. And for generations, orthodontists have just been hand placing these brackets. I mean, they just stock them. They usually stock like pretty much one type, a standard stock bracket. A standard stock bracket works for 99.99% of your patients, maybe 99.5%. I mean, it's going to work for pretty much everyone because it just goes on averages. Occasionally people have really weird shaped teeth and sometimes it just doesn't work as well, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get a good outcome or a good enough outcome. You can do a few tweaks. So let's go into that a little bit more. So 3D or custom brackets are marketed as supposedly more comfortable, lower profile. They generally come with a much higher price tag, because the other ones are just averages. They're off the shelf brackets, like I said, which work for 99.9% of people. So if you really want a custom bracket, what are the benefits? Well, it might be a little lower profile, a little bit more comfortable. I don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference, but I mean, I've seen them. I don't know how it could be that noticeable. But I mean, some people just really like the idea of having the most technologically cool bracket that's out there. Just like people like to, I mean, you can buy an electric car, you can buy one of many different electric cars out there, or you can buy a Rivian, which is like the coolest one. But just if you're really into tech and you really have a lot of money to spend, then you might buy the coolest, most techy one. Doesn't mean it's going to work any better or not get you from A to Z. It just might have more cool aspects to it and something you can brag about. So that's the way I look at it. But let's go over the pros and cons. So let's talk about and semi versus custom versus semi-custom. So let's go over that. I'm going to say custom is like a completely custom 3D printed bracket for that patient. You're taking a scan. These are not stock brackets. These are like formed for specifically for that patient's tooth. So not necessary. I mean, I have a hard time thinking of when was the last time a case didn't work out because they had really shaped teeth. Occasionally you have really strange anatomy. And if you go into, I think it was Celebrace. If you go, listen, it's cool concepts. I'm not saying anything bad about these. I mean, this is for somebody. Somebody's going to be into this. I'm not into it, but somebody is. So if you go to Celebraces, because I kind of explored their website yesterday, they have a good example of why custom. And they kind of showed like a tooth that had a really strange height of contour and how traditional stock brackets can kind of pivot on them, especially if you're direct bonding them. Because like if it only has one spot that it's touching and it's not completely like flush, it could teeter totter and that could make a very different outcome, even if you put the bracket supposedly in the right spot. So I get the point, okay? I get the point. So occasionally that happens. You will have some weird anatomy and this could happen. Okay, it's a one-off, but it could happen. So that's why custom. So theoretically, there are some studies showing it might save a few months of treatment as opposed to direct bonding. Okay, as opposed to direct bonding. But there's also content that shows that indirect bonding. So I think all of the custom braces are also indirect bonding. That would be weird if it wasn't, because indirect bonding definitely saves a lot of time, right? Because we're taking out that extra variable. We're precisely placing it according to what the scan says, the exact spot on the tooth where it should go. So that makes sense. Listen, indirect bonding is going to be a lot more accurate than even the best orthodontists in the world's direct bonding. That's a fact, Jack. I mean, if you're going to do direct bonding, you're going to either have repos or step ends. That's how it is. Everyone who does direct bonding is going to have a few repos or step ends. That's not really bad if you're an orthodontist because you've got that all worked into your process anyways. That really doesn't, you don't, and you catch the things really fast, so you don't really waste a lot of time. Where you waste a lot of time is when a general dentist is having to do direct bonding. Their errors are much bigger than our errors because their errors are compounded because they just don't have the eyes to catch things as early as we do. So that's what I'm getting at. So every general dentist or pediatric dentist should be doing indirect bonding. That's a no-brainer. You are just going to waste way too much time otherwise. But you can do indirect bonding using regular stock brackets, which is super cheap. If you haven't seen the content I made a few weeks ago, Dibs AI, going into that, like a couple $100. I mean, that's not expensive. We're talking about custom and semi-custom braces. That's also indirect bonding, but these are the braces, or the wires are custom. So let's go into these a little bit more. Okay, so LightForce, that's probably the biggest one. This is a 3D printed ceramic. That fits the specific anatomy of each tooth. Yes, they're saying studies show it reduces treatment time by 40%, but keep in mind this is also indirect bonding. Indirect bonding in general reduces treatment force. Does it really make that much of a difference? Yeah, I mean, it's precisely milled torque. Yeah, I mean, I can see on a case that either had really strange anatomy or really strange torque, that might save you a few months. Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't have the prices right now, and it's really hard to find them, but I was blown away by the quote unquote lab fees, or the prices. They gave ranges. They're even more than Invisalign's like no discount, no volume lab fee. How are people paying $2,500 to $3,000 for a lab fee? That's crazy. That's not the patient's cost. That's the doctor's cost, especially when you are not being reimbursed by insurance by much more than that. Like, that's insane. I don't understand. I mean, these got to be cash. You'd have to take all cash to make this make sense. And in a city like New York or something, yeah, I can see how that might make sense. I mean, you are gonna, if it is precisely 3D printed bracket, not stock, and you are doing it through indirect bonding, and you are doing self-ligating, this makes zero sense to me if we're using elastomagnetic ties, because why? The whole point of spending $2,500 to $3,000 on a lab fee is not having many visits. If you're still having to see them every 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks, that makes zero sense. But yeah, I mean, if you're doing self-ligating and these are like so custom that you just snap it all together and see you in 6 months. I mean, assuming it's not a spacing case, it's a crowding case, and it's just level and aligned. See you in 9 months, see you in 10 months. Yes, you'll need to be on some type of remote monitoring. I mean, yeah, I guess that could make sense if I was charging $12,000 a case. I mean, basically they're just paying for the tech that you're going to install, and then you're going to virtually monitor it. Sure. I'll pay. If I can charge $10,000 to $12,000 a case, I will do this stuff, no problem. Okay, so that was LightForce. They're supposedly incredibly aesthetic. I mean, that's pretty cool. The wire is never aesthetic though, and like a thin night-tie wire is not noticeable, but a thick night-tie wire, a thick steel wire is noticeable, and I don't think that's gonna go away. So, I mean, okay, cons for LightForce: fragility, definitely fracture, and they also said that they take several weeks to show up after you do the scan. Okay. Next one is the InBrace. That is the wire that goes behind the teeth. That's lingual. I mean, lingual's been around for ages. I mean, you guys know about the pros and cons of lingual. KLOwen is a semi-custom hybrid. So they said they use a full custom digital workflow, but with metal brackets. So I think the only thing they're doing, they're using 3D printed metal brackets, but it sounds like they're not custom. So I don't really understand. It sounds like it's just indirect bonding and then a digital workflow. So I don't know how that's different from my Dibs AI. I'm not sure that it is, which is super cheap. It's not mine, but I've been working with them for 10 years, so I know them pretty well. Okay, Brius is supposedly an independent mover. This Brius one, if I say anything negative, I get they must have a lot of bots, because I get my whole YouTube site like blown up. It's kind of funny, and they're definitely bottish. So I'll talk about Brius and see if I get bots after me again. This is also lingual. Okay, got it. That's just a lingual thing. Dynaflex is custom. It sounds like it's 3D printed, also with digital trays. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, all right, now you know the difference of the different types of indirect bonding that's out there, and the kind of the pros and cons. I mean, it's not for everyone, and it certainly wouldn't work in like a regular office with kids and insurance. But yeah, if you're doing adults, I mean, and they don't want aligners, I don't see why not. All right, thanks.